Good morning and welcome to the new week. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with your Monday, February 28th edition of the Weather Hazard Briefing for Southeast Idaho. Folks, we're currently sitting at 7 degrees here at the Pocatello Airport as of about 5 a.m. When we're recording this briefing. But taking a look off to our west, heading up to Stanley, which is normally one of the colder spots in our forecast area, Stanley is currently at 37 degrees at 5 a.m. this morning. Also out to Boise, checking in at about 31 degrees as we head off to the west. So change is certainly on the way, and we've been talking about a warming trend that we're expecting to move into the area here over the course of the week, and that is still on. And in fact, those warm temperatures may even last just a little bit longer than we've been previously forecasting. So let's dive into the briefing here. And taking a look at the next few days, we do have an atmospheric river event that has kicked off to our north. This feed of moisture, this fire hose, is just going to bathe portions of Washington, Oregon, the Idaho Panhandle, possibly western Montana, with rain and snow for the next several days in a row, while possibly brushing portions of our central mountains and the Montana border corridor here in our local forecast area. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Most of the area, though, staying dry, and those temperatures are going to be the main weather story. So further south, outside of the areas we just mentioned, dry conditions, a warming trend expected from Monday into Tuesday into Wednesday, which was going to be our warmest day. We may now be able to include Thursday in that warmer period, that warming trend period as well, before we finally bring in our next more organized storm system toward the end of the week. So like we did yesterday, there's a lot we can glean from taking a look at the satellite image this morning to really break down the mechanics of our weather this week. Follow the clouds. Very easy to see if you follow my cursor here, where that stream of moisture, that atmospheric river of moisture, is heading toward the west coast and flowing right into portions of Washington and Oregon. But let's lay down some labels here. We do have a ridge of high pressure that is centered right over the northern Rockies and is expected to remain in place again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly into portion of Thursday as well. Little further to the northwest, we have an area of low pressure. It's actually kind of a multifaceted area of low pressure. Lots of little spins, lots of little counterclockwise spins you can pick out in the satellite loop here, at least three main ones that I've labeled here. So this relative region of low pressure is also going to remain nearly stationary, just as our high. And you can see that fire hose, that atmospheric river of moisture riding northeast, moving right up across portions of Washington and Oregon, flowing, kind of being driven by the steering flows around this low and high. We've got this clockwise flow around the high, so southerly winds on the west side. We have a counterclockwise flow around this nearby low, so these winds are bringing that moisture northeast into Seattle, again into portions of Washington, Oregon, eventually east into the Idaho Panhandle, and some of that spilling over the top of that ridge of high pressure into Montana, although by that time some of the moisture has actually been wrung out and rained out and snowed out over the terrain here in that area. So big question for us is, how close will the southern edge of this atmospheric river, the very southern edge of this moisture feed, get to us, get to our forecast area? And that's why we're talking about a chance of some shower activity in the central mountains and into the Montana border corridor. We zoom in just a little bit closer to our area here. There's that moisture flowing in across the Pacific Northwest. Southern fringes of those clouds generally, occasionally drifting across portions of the forecast area. But as far as precipitation goes, it's going to be a little less penetration here. We're gonna see where that can brush down into our far northern zones. You may see as well some blue and purple shading, partially being covered up by that white cloud cover and moisture. A little bit of mid-level stratus clouds out there as well this morning, and that's actually helping to keep a few areas just a touch warmer for your morning lows than what we've seen over the past several days. So breaking all of this down by day and by area here in the weather risk outlook, no big changes here if you watch our briefing every morning. We start out with a little more green. We slowly start to work in a few of those snow showers becoming rain and snow showers with the warming trend, and eventually we have more widespread precipitation. So day by day here today, holding on to those question marks, maybe a few rain and snow showers, generally light rain and snow showers, making it into at least the northeast highlands, as well as portions of the Lost River area, Sawtooth area, up into Lemhi County, and Salmon as well. Tomorrow, a repeat with maybe a shower or two making it down into the Wood River Valley. That's going to be questionable, well, although we're holding question marks here for everyone. Warmer conditions across the entire region as that warming trend really takes hold. We repeat it all over again Wednesday with even warmer readings for a few of our lower elevation areas. Still low confidence, though, on exact coverage of rain and snow shower activity, exactly who is going to pick up on some of that activity. This is probably going to remain kind of a low to moderate confidence forecast. And the reason for that is just little shifts in the locations of those high and low pressure systems, little bit of shift in the models as far as where that atmospheric river is, could move the southern edge of that moisture feed either a little further away from our area or a little further south, bringing more of that moisture into the central mountains, into the Island Park region. So watching little oscillations there in the guidance, and we're going to have to kind of monitor that day by day and see what we're able to pull out of this scenario. But dry for most of the rest of the region, and even dry periods up across the north as well. Thursday, we're going to hold on to a chance of a few rain and snow showers everywhere, although we're, again, holding those question marks on this because we're still not seeing a definitive pattern change. We still have this high-low configuration. We still have that moisture feed to the north. It's starting to look like the main trough or the main push of a storm system inland across the northern Rockies is going to hold off now, possibly till Thursday night into Friday. And you can see better chance here without the question marks of rain and snow across most of the region for Friday with cooler temperatures. So with that little bit of delay, Thursday is also starting to shape up to be a little bit of a warmer day, a little more reminiscent of the early week period versus the end of the week period. As you might imagine, still no watches, warnings, and advisories in effect for our forecast area, with all of the action well to our north and northwest. If you were to be traveling up into portions of Washington and northern Idaho, flood watches, avalanche warnings, and other alerts to deal with up that way, but not the case here locally. There is actually an excessive rainfall risk here in portions of northern Idaho, a marginal risk well to our north, but again, not expecting that to make it down even towards Stanley, Chalice, or Salmon, with that best moisture feed remaining north of the region. Last few graphics here look a little different than what you're used to. We had some technical difficulties, but this is a look at new snowfall. This is our forecast of new snowfall for the next 3 days, for Monday into Tuesday into Wednesday, all the way to Thursday morning. Remember, temperatures are warming and will support some rain showers mixing in at lower elevations up across the north. So some of the valleys like the Chalice area, possibly Stanley, Salmon, looking at a mix of rain and snow trending toward more rain, at least during the daylight hours as we head through the week. So some of that will cut down on snow accumulations, but the shading you see here does a really good job of lighting up the areas that we're generally watching for that light rain and snow shower activity throughout the week, as we watch the southern edge of that atmospheric river of moisture. Further south, as soon as you get out of the central mountains, as soon as you get south to maybe Rexburg and Du Bois southward, higher forecast confidence at this time in dry conditions holding on throughout much of the week until we can get that better organized system in here Thursday night and Friday. Quick look at temperatures here. So today, readings getting up into the 30s and 40s across the entire forecast area. Already looking better, already a change over the cold pattern we've been locked into. Stepping ahead to Tuesday, we gain a few more degrees, 50. Still, our forecast for Burley, no change there. Possibly 50 or so up in Chalice. Getting close to 40 up in the West Yellowstone and Island Park area, kind of a typically colder locale there. So Tuesday is going to feel quite pleasant for those who are looking for a taste of spring. Wednesday still looking like the warmest day, okay? A little bit cooler relatively up here across the Arco Desert and Upper Snake, but still getting into the 40s for most locations up in this region. And then some of those 50s coming down the Magic Valley and Treasure Valley into our forecast area. Boise's forecasting 57 or so for Mountain Home, 57 as well for Twin Falls, 51 for Burley, very close to 50 into Pocatello as well as up in Chalice. Thursday, first time we've shown these temperatures on the briefing. Not looking terribly different. We might lose a few degrees dependent on cloud cover and any shower activity trying to move in. But other than that, you can still see some 50 plus degree readings at the lower elevations here, particularly coming in across the eastern Magic Valley and lower Snake. So we'll see if this trend holds, but we're seeing signs that Thursday is going to be more like Tuesday and Wednesday and not so much like the wetter, cooler pattern that will finally arrive to end the week here on Thursday night or Friday or so. High temperatures Friday, much cooler, as we just mentioned. Backing off, more snow than rain, unless you're at the lowest elevations here down near Pocatello and Burley, and temperatures generally in the 30s, although some places still getting above freezing, and possibly toward 40 here out toward Twin Falls and Pocatello. So there's the weather for your week. As always, please feel free to reach out with any questions or comments, and everybody have a great Monday.